There's a couple of guys coming up here for this next fireside chat. And these guys have been doing it for a really long time. A really long time. They could be the most OG trainers, coaches, mentors. What? Icons. Icons in the world of fitness and just better living. They are known for training celebrities. Now, they've been around a long time. We're talking about, like, coaching Frank Sinatra and, like, Marilyn Monroe. Napoleon, when Napoleon was taking over the world, Don Saladino was leading the charge. You know, Genghis Khan, Gunnar, Peterson was there, just showing them how to do it. These guys are legends, and and Kenny Santucci. Let's give a round of applause to Kenny Santucci. Kenny Santucci. He is the second strongest man here today. Kenny Santucci and his team put together this amazing event, and I'm, again, honored to be able to be a part of it. I'm really, really excited to hear about this fireside chat. I don't know exactly what they're going to talk about, but I will promise you that it is going to be good. It's going to be good. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it a round of applause for Kenny Santucci, Don Saladino, and Gunnar Peterson.
Awesome. Someone trying to kill me here? What is this? Put that down. Bad jokes.
Let's make it cozy, boys.
All right, let's go.
I want to tee this up with Don and I play this game. It's a funny little name drop thing.
Uh-oh.
He usually starts and he can't help himself, so I'd like you guys to keep track of all the names that are
There's
dropped.
a name drop. We normally go like...
You'll notice it. You'll pick
Sorry.
up on it.
Yeah, so between me, or on either side of me rather, are two of the guys who made me want to do what I do. And today, and every day of everybody's life, no matter what your job is, it's all about doing the thing, right? Nowadays, everybody puts up on Instagram, I'm doing the thing, I'm taking pictures. Well, if you're too busy taking pictures and putting up...
Hang on. Hello? Ryan? Sorry, it's Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, just tell him I'll call back. Tell him I'll call back.
You want to train? I'll tell Don. Yeah, we can train. No problem. Yeah, I'll tell him. I'll tell him. Thanks.
Ryan Reynolds is up there.
Thanks for calling, Ryan. Ryan's training with me now.
So today is all about doing the thing, right? I wanted to put together this event, and I said, well, it's an everyday process. It happens every day. And why I say these two guys inspired me was because everybody knows them for training celebrities, right? But you don't see the hours and years and months of work that these guys have put in. All this stuff, I mean, these guys were around before social media, and I still knew who they were, right? I told this story last year when we did this. I said, I bought this book when I was in college. It's called Sly Moves. And Sylvester Stallone, through the whole book, is talking about this guy, Gunnar Peterson. Well, he's like, Gunnar Peterson taught me this, and I go, who the hell's this Gunnar Peterson guy, and why is Sylvester Stallone taking advice from him? So we got to chat about that last year, but I wanted to kind of chat with these guys about doing the thing, right? I know there's a lot of fitness professionals in here, and no matter what your career is or what your job is, it's about doing that thing every day. And I get asked all the time, well, what are you going to do when you're 60? I said,
Whoa.
Sorry.
Whoa.
The same
Shots fired.
The same thing Gunnar's doing, right? He's still doing the thing. So I wanted to chat with these guys, and we'll start with Gunnar. Obviously, age over beauty.
Ouch.
Hey, skin looks great though. I'm just.
He moisturizes a lot, you can tell.
Don took me yesterday on like Don's
Day
Day
of
of
Beauty.
Beauty through New York, and he kept including me, like throwing me in. He goes, do this.
Yeah.
So we went to his dermatologist, and the guy's like, let me rub this on your face. I go, fuck, what is that? And he goes, it's going to sting a little. I go, it stings a lot. And he goes, that's a chemical peel. I go, dude, I don't even know you. And yeah.
I was dying. I was like, oh my God, I hope he wakes up with a rash because he's going to be so upset with me the next morning. And it was going to
Looks
be a
good.
story.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you look younger than
Dr. Goldenberger, by the way. Dr.
Oh, he's
Goldenberger.
fantastic.
Goldenberger.
Fantastic.
Great.
So I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who want to know, there had to be some days, some years, some months that you're like, why do I keep doing this? Does it get old? How do you deal with the monotony of every day of doing what you do, and you've been doing it longer than anybody else here?
I think there's no monotony. Every day is different. You're dealing with people who are bringing, even if it's the same person, they're bringing you a different scenario every day because they're coming off of different food, different stress levels, different things in their life, different goals, and so it's always a new playbook.
How do you attack that question when people are like, why are you still doing this?
Because I like it. I like the interaction. It's the little cognitive dissonance of I like people, but fuck everybody. I mean, you're just kind of I enjoy the interaction. I enjoy being with them. I enjoy hearing the stories. I enjoy watching them progress towards their goals. I enjoy watching the goals shape-shift just like their bodies shape-shift. And I think that, thanks, rookie. I think that until you're not into it as a trainer, I don't think there's an age limit. Who's going to retire? Who's going to put you out to pasture? If you're into it, you should be doing it. If you're contributing something valid and viable to the landscape, I think there's no age limit on it.
So what's your advice to people who are stuck in this job that they really don't like, that they're bored with?
The job of training?
No, not the job.
Any other job.
Any career. What's your advice?
This is not a dress rehearsal, man. You should go find what moves the needle for you and get after it. Even if it becomes what's that song about your side hustle becoming your main chick? Like, start it as a side hustle. Start it as a side hustle and then see where it takes you. And maybe it's only a side hustle and that's fine, but maybe it becomes your main thing. And if you're enjoying it, then good for you to have a life like that where you're enjoying it.
And I'm going to pose this question to both of you, but I'll start with Don. When did you think, like, all right, I could really make a career out of this thing. I love doing what I'm doing, but I'm making no money? Because anybody in the fitness industry, and I know there's a lot of young trainers out there because I've been getting a lot of messages about it, it's hard to transition from that safe job where I have benefits and all these things to go into a career where you're every day is a guess.
It's funny, I got into this profession because I was passionate about this profession. I was passionate about, it sounds corny, but helping people. There's a sensation we get after training someone, right? And there's a feeling we get when we walk off the floor and that person left an hour later feeling better than they did before they came in. So when I became a coach, it was in 1999. And I worked at a big box gym and I worked my ass off and I made no money that first year. And in the money, it started coming and the opportunities started coming. But guys, I did not think about a 20-year plan, right? Like I work with a few celebrities now and I have the luxury of being able to do that because I have a pretty nice size.
One less, actually.
Yeah, exactly. I just lost one. So the fact that I have a pretty nice, online business, but getting to there, it was never something I thought about. It wasn't like in 1999, I'm saying, oh God, in 2024, I hope to have an online business of tens of thousands of clients. And I'm gonna be doing Zoom calls, and I'm gonna be doing all these corporate events, and I'm gonna host a retreat in Mexico where I'm gonna rent an island with 150 people from over 30 different countries. This shit did not exist. It didn't happen there. So I think what frustrates me is that everyone's trying to package something, right? And they're trying to say, well, you got to know your plan and keep the goal the goal. And I'm waking up every morning and I'm doing, cold plunges and saunas and all these things that we like, and it's just not realistic. Guys, I was going to bed. I was working at Equinox in '99. I had to do the early bird special where I had to drive in and park by 5 a.m. because the parking was $13. And guess what? I was closing the club at 10, 11 o'clock at night. And there was no iPhones. I wasn't texting Gunnar. It was like we were just, we were working. My whole goal there was to train as many sessions as possible, but the work ethic never changed. When I was sweeping at a catering hall when I was 13, guys, don't laugh, I wanted to be the best person who was sweeping. I wanted people to look at me and notice me for the job that I was doing. I just wanted people to look at me and say, wow, that guy's a machine. And that was something that I always lived by. But to turn around and try and create this path, we don't know what I'm going to be doing now in 10 years. I mean, we love our profession, right? But there's going to be opportunity that's going to be created and thrown at all of you, and you just got to go with it. But the thing you got to do and you got to worry about is like what you tell your clients to do now. focus on today. Adam Bornstein was talking about it, and I loved it. It's like, are we going to obsess over the scale and number, or are we going to focus on the habit of what we have to do, and are we going to change the mindset? Go in today, do the best for your own health, get your training in, do the best for your clients, focus on your business, rinse and repeat.
This also wasn't a career then. It was a job.
No.
And there's a big difference. And now look around. Look what Kenny's put together. Look what Kenny and his team have put together. This is legit.
Guys, this is the best. We never had networking like this.
Never.
When we started, the fact, I've taken 10 meetings so far. I've spoken with a half a dozen publications. Guys, there is so much opportunity on that floor for you right now, and there are so many coaches that are approaching me, and I'm excited to talk to them, and I'm impressed. I'm like, guys, DM me. But to have this back in the early
there wasn't a 20-year plan because no one had done it for 20 years.
No.
It's not like you get into banking and you go, oh, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to do this, then I'm going to get here, then I'm going to have the corner office, then I'm going to be on the board, then I'm going to retire. I'm going to have a house on Long Island like Don Saladino. That wasn't set up back then. So you just sort of finagled your way through, and then you look. All of a sudden, you pull your head up. You go, "Wow, I've been doing this 10 years. I'm 15 years. I'm 20 years in."
Right.
But it is one of the only jobs. Maybe you guys find it too, where people still say, "Are you still doing the training?" We talked about this the other day. You don't hear that. You're like, "Yes, that's what I do." You don't hear anybody say, "Hey, Bob, you still messing with that law thing?" Like,
yeah.
that's not a thing. Like, it's such a funny business. You look at. And I'm sure there are different quotes of how much money is in health and wellness. It's 80 billion or some crazy number.
Billions of dollars.
It's billions of dollars, and people treat it like a job, like they think they're passing through or they're on the bubble of it. If you get deep into it, man, you can make a great life. If you get into training one-on-one to retire and buy your own island, I mean, then you're as stupid as people think trainers are. But if you get into it for a good quality of life and to really have some fun and engage with people, it's a career, not a job.
You also have to think outside the box, right? Because there's a lot of brands on the floor, and I'm not bashing them at all, but a lot of them, this is a new game for them too. They don't know how to work with coaches like yourself, and that's why I really went a lot of this business route, and I started doing talks, and I started consulting with businesses, is because I realized through the mistakes that I made and the positions I put myself in, I had something to help out with. So, even on the floor right now, they want to hear from you. They want to get ideas. If you have opportunity, if you have creative ways to approach them, go approach them. I just approached a brand on the floor that I love right now, and the next we're exchanging information. I've got some great ideas on how I can help them. So
I think you touched on it a little bit. You guys both touched on it. It wasn't this plan, right? It wasn't, oh, hey, when I become a trainer, the goal is to work with celebrities, and then I made it to the top of the mountain, and now I'm good.
No way.
Right? What was...
No, the goal was literally to log hours. How many hours can I do this week? Because
No, it was a competition. It was a competition
total
with yourself.
competition.
Yeah.
We used to have it in a book in this gym I trained in, and I always wanted to be the top guy at the hours. This guy did 35, I'm doing 40. This guy did 40, I'm doing 50. And you're always pushing because you're literally trading time for money. Now there's so many ways to create ancillary revenue streams and deals with brands and deals with corporations and consulting deals and deals with equipment companies and there's no limit on it. I mean, you created, especially with these up and coming, you as a trainer, if you think you add some value to it, you can approach those guys and say, hey, I have a couple ideas for your product. I'd love to have a meeting with you. They'll take a meeting. They can't afford not to.
But there's also big companies out there. Like I could talk about this. There was a meeting I had with Life Fitness and Hammer Strength last week in Chicago. They flew Derek Hansen and I out to meet with them. And they made us sign an NDA on product and this and that, but they brought us in to work with their engineers. That wasn't something I imagined doing back in 1999. And they didn't come to me with that. I went to them with it.
Did you just name drop Hammer Strength?
That'll count. That'll count.
Because I'm going to tell you about when I used to fly to Italy to consult for Technogym. Just if we're going to do that, Don.
No, we're done. Oh my God, funny.
You guys would never know that they didn't know each other last year this time.
That's another thing too.
We met at Strong,
Here.
New York. I'd known who he was for 10, 12 years easily. And we met in person here last year. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no, awesome. Thank
Very
you.
cool.
Definitely. And we saw each other. It was probably like Gunnar was standing at the door, and we looked at each other and we pointed. We started hugging.
Yep.
And it was just like out of nowhere, this relationship was built.
Don's wife is like, is there something you want to tell me?
Well, Don was just so excited there was somebody older than him.
Yeah.
Like, oh, great. Don was like, perfect. I'm not the only
Wow.
guy.
Perfect. Wow, is that bad?
Wow.
No, so No, but back to my original point, it's about doing the thing. And I think in a lot of careers, somebody had asked me before, they were like, oh, wow, it's so impressive that you put this together. But there's countless nights, especially just like last night. We were out for dinner, and we were having drinks and stuff, and it's 11
It wasn't
o'clock.
actually dinner, it was appetizers.
It was appetizers. Well, I was expecting him to show up so I could berate him, too. But he kind of screwed me on that dinner bill, $4,000 for a couple appetizers. Wasn't happy about it. But, it's about those times where you don't want to do it, right? Just like training, and we'll throw it back to, obviously, exercise as well.
Yep.
Right? It's about doing all the things that you don't want to do in those times where they suck the most.
Yeah.
So, how many nights, how many times have you been in that position where you're like, I really don't want to fly here. I really don't want to go have this meeting. I'd just rather stay at home.
Guys, I almost missed 37 consecutive payrolls at one of my clubs. It was $2 million a year just to keep one club open. And I remember going to bed on 37 consecutive payrolls going, holy shit, where am I going to come up with this money by tomorrow? And the most creative moments of my life were when I was pushed up against the wall like that. You can't expect to go on this run and be an entrepreneur if you're not going to get your head kicked in here and there. And I definitely had my head kicked in enough, but that's why I have so much respect for him right now. I remember when he started his first event across the highway. I remember walking there in the morning and going in there. The warehouse is freezing cold. People were running around everywhere. Kenny's like, what the fuck is going on right now? And I'm like, oh my God, but I was still impressed by it because he had so many people show up. And we had the conversation. I'm like, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. And this is in the 25 years I've been doing this professionally, this is one of the more impressive networking events I've seen. The amount of value on the floor for you guys right now is on a level I don't think you understand. And you should be exchanging numbers. You should be meeting with brands. One brand I work with out there, Halo Hydration, phenomenal brand. They're looking for good brand partners. Go talk to them, right? Gunnar knows there's a lot of brands out there. Go get creative. Leave them your business card and leave them a good impression.
And, I know there's a lot of people here who aren't in the fitness profession, or you're not a trainer, you have no association with what we do for a profession, but I encourage everybody to go out on the floor and introduce yourself to people and mingle with guys like this. There are so many great people around, and this is where it starts. It starts with you. I make the point all the time to talk about being selfish on social media. You cannot be the best version of you unless you take care of you first. So it doesn't matter what profession you're in, right? It starts with your health, and that's why I'm obsessed with this career, and I'm obsessed with what I do, and that's why I get up every morning at 5:30 to get to the gym and open it up, because it's the people who don't do what we do who help us, run our businesses, right? It's those finance guys and girls who get up and they have to be at work and be on the job by 7 o'clock, so they're like, I got to be there. I got to be at my desk by 7 o'clock. Can you do this? And I'm happy to oblige. I know these guys have done it forever.
You're in a service industry. If you're on this side of it, you're in a service industry. And I think a lot of trainers lose sight of that, especially as they start to get a little bit of shine. You don't forget, the whole thing about a trainer, I fired that guy. No, you didn't fire the guy. You can't, first of all, you don't have a good grasp of the English language. You can't fire someone who hired you. And you can quit on them, but that's another story. But you're in the service industry, so you have to work when other people are free, which is early morning, lunchtime, afternoons, weekends, holidays. That's how it goes. So when you have that person you said starts at 7 o'clock, that means you will be training people 4, 5, 6 a.m. That's how that goes. Doesn't mean you can't catch a break, mid-morning, mid-afternoon for your own stuff. But if you're in a service industry, be prepared to serve. Don't resent that. Don't start resenting the people. Don't start trying to flip the power paradigm. They are your boss. And if you treat it like that and you go in willingly, there's a lot less resentment and it makes the hours really flow nicely.
That was one of the best lessons I learned early on. It was a terrible delivery. I've spoken about it before, but I was in a meeting when I worked at that gym I mentioned earlier, and they got bought over by a private equity company, and they had a new GM come in, and the GM walks into a room of 45 trainers. It was the worst delivery I've ever heard in my life, but the woman was right. She looked at all of us and went, "You're all expendable," and we were like,
"Oh, I trained the people in the Expendables movie."
I'm sorry, this is good. Just killed my story, man. That's way funnier. But now I'm fucked up. Now I don't remember. 45 of us and said, you're all expendable. And though it was the worst message, it was the worst delivery I've ever heard in my life, it's actually something I live by. And as many celebrities I've worked with, and it's been a lot. There's probably one person on the planet to do more, and it's this guy here, exactly, another one. I realized that I could be replaced at any moment, right? We become friends, sure, but if I'm not doing my job, I'm not showing up doing what I need to be doing, I'm gonna be out.
But you can't look at it like they're not loyal. Some of them may be not loyal, but you have to look at it like, what didn't you do? Where did you quit delivering?
You're here to do a job.
You're in the service industry.
You're here to do a job. Do a job. No matter whoever you're training, it doesn't matter. You got to go in there and you got to, I always say, allow them to leave feeling like it's a necessity, not a luxury. Oh, training's money, or, it's going to cost X, Y, and Z. Like, I want them to leave feeling like Don Saladino, Gunnar Peterson was a necessity in my life. I need that coach to be better. I need that coach to be a better husband, father, son, whatever it is, employee, employer. That's how I've always looked at it.
So what do you guys say to people when they say, all right, well, you guys have all this success now. Why continue to do what you do?
Oh, man, we were just happy. Oh.
Yeah.
Lava to you?
No. Why do we keep doing it?
Yeah.
Because we like it. What else are you going to do? You're going to wake up and golf, then what? What are you going to do at 11?
What's the retirement plan look like?
There's no retirement plan. I mean, I pared it down. Look, I moved to Nashville. My wife was dying to move to Nashville.
Where is she?
She's over there. I dragged her out of LA kicking and screaming, and it was the rough 6 months. But my deal in Nashville was I won't train more than 5 people a day. Because in LA, I was training still 8, 9, 10 people every day, coming home every time in the dark, the whole thing. And so I found better balance in Nashville, but it doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing it. Why would I stop doing it? I like doing it. And if I'm bringing something, if I'm adding quality to the fitness landscape, why would I take that away? Because I want to spend more time with my kids? They're in school. But I can pick them up after school. I can take them to practice. I find better balance. But I don't have to step away from the game if I'm still adding to it.
I think of it as the comments that a lot of us have passed about billionaires. Well, if I had his money, I would never work again. I'm like, well, you don't have his money, and there's a reason why. There's a reason why he's still working. And I've worked with a few people that are worth, I can't name them, but close to $100 billion.
Can't name them.
Can't name this one. But the reality is that it wasn't about the money for that person. It's like if you look at someone who's, got a great physique, and they're like, well, take a day off. Like they've gotten to where they've gotten to because of this passion, this love for it. And I think when we're in this industry, Gunnar and I, though we've trained everyone in Hollywood and we've done a lot of cool stuff, we're looking for that next thing. We're looking for that next opportunity. We want to, we're talking about business opportunities to do together, and we want to keep elevating each other's games, and we want to keep doing better. So we're never going to be complacent. It's probably one of the lines I've always lived off of, and I'm really excited to see what's in store the next year, 5 years, 10 years, because how it's evolved, throughout my career. I mean, I never imagined doing or being where I am right now.
More opportunities in fitness now than there ever were.
Hands down.
Ever. More gyms than there ever were.
And you guys can create those opportunities too, because like I said, a lot of these brands, the example I gave with Life Fitness, like I would never have been there if it wasn't for me speaking to them. So getting a brand's ear, really, really quick story if you don't mind. I had a coach years ago reach out to me and say, I'd like to come work for you. And I said, it's a bad time. I can't hire you. We can't afford it. Reaches out to me the following month, and the following month, and the following month, to the point where the persistence would almost sound annoying, but he was doing it in a way that was really like, it was pleasant. And I was like, wow, this guy, by the 6th month, I got on the phone with him. I'm like, hey man, I can't afford to pay you. This is the worst time of year to hire you. Where are you gonna live? You gotta be in here at 5 a.m. I was giving him every reason known to man not to come in and take this job. I'll sleep on my friend's couch. I could be there at any time. I don't care. I want to work. I want to be there. I had about 20, 25 coaches working for me. Within 2 years, he was my director of performance at both my clubs. And it's the best story ever because this guy did not care. He did not care about schedule. He worked. He worked. And he made mistakes, and he worked. And every time this guy came in with a spreadsheet, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, fuck, this guy's going to ask for another raise and I got to give it to him right now. Because I had no way to avoid it. I'm like, this guy, but he was able to justify it. So he's coming in showing me numbers and saying, I'd like more money, but I'm going to bring this to the table, which is going to put more money in your pocket. And I'm going, wow, let's do it. Seriously, I wanted to make more money also. Why not? But, most coaches will come to you saying, I'm doing X amount of sessions and I'd like a raise. And you're like, well, why, right? Like at a certain point, you can't just keep paying for a position, but create that opportunity think about things a little bit differently. Go to a brand, go to your boss, whatever it is. You got to take risks, guys. You can't expect good things to just happen over and over and over. I was a big risk taker. I still kind of am. I throw balls in the air. It's probably the best thing about me. It's also one of my biggest downfalls in business is that I like to go out and get it, but that's part of what excites me.
You also take some, sorry, come on, Kenny. Come on. You also take some of those gigs because you don't have a plan of where they're going to go, but they're intriguing, they're enticing. You don't know what they may blossom into. And he's told me about so many people that he's worked with, never even got paid for.
Yeah.
And I think I have a similar list, but then you find out that that led you to that, which connected you to that, which blew up into a bigger project overall that paid you way more than those workouts or when that person, had that person become a regular client, would have ever netted you.
So that leads me to my next point. You guys are both leading into it perfectly. Success. Right? You guys are both very successful. I know there's a lot of people who admire you in this room, I being one of them.
Thank you.
And you worked with so many successful people. So we'll start with you, Don. What are 3 things that you say are the keys to success for you and for the people that you've worked with?
All right, first off, just hard work. I don't think we can forget that you got to sweat, you got to get your hands bloody at times. Adding value. Right? Like how can you allow someone to consistently think about you and talk about you? Like I want to be the topic of conversation at dinner. I want my clients out talking about why they got in such great shape. Success for me also comes down.
That's narcissism, right?
I don't think so.
Just to let you know.
You could think about it that way, maybe. I want people to understand in business that you don't have to be an asshole. Always. CEOs don't have to be an asshole. You see these things on social media selling. Like I have integrity. I have a way I'm going to handle my business. I have a way I'm going to treat people. I have products I'm going to affiliate myself with. When people say, everyone's got their number, I get that to an extent, but I'm not going to do business with a brand or I'm not going to do business with a person. I got offered to do a deal with someone that is a terrible human being and an absolute, such an incredible amount of money, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't affiliate myself with that person. So I think there's a level of integrity that, I know the 3 of us have always held ourselves to.
That's 2.
No, it was 3.
That's 2.
The one that you called me a narcissist on was 2.
What about you?
I go the other direction. Family, to me, that's a success. It's what you come home to. Great what you do in the gym, great what you do at your work.
I knew you were going to say that, though. That was like,
my wife is in the crowd.
Your wife's here, my wife's here, I love her. We know family.
Right.
Put that aside.
Yeah, but
I'm not counting that as one.
We're going to have very different car rides home, though.
That's bullshit.
Now, family's everything. I look over it, and whatever your family is, kids, no kids, wife, no, what you return to, what grounds you, what sparks your day, if that's not humming along to me, then you've done something, I don't want to say wrong, but definitely not as right as you could have done it, right? The other thing is adding to the field. Like, did you contribute? Was there something you did, or did you, we talked about this the other day, did you snipe and do you think you got taller by standing on other people? The answer is you can't. So always knocking someone else to make yourself look better is a sign of weakness, and Don and I go, I think, out of our ways to not do that. If there are bad people that we've come across in the industry, we don't air their names. You just move past that, and you don't get anywhere by knocking that. So you try to live. To me, that's a successful thing when you stay on your path without pulling anybody else down to you.
I love that one.
A testament to both these guys. I got introduced to Don.
By the way, that was 2.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm kidding. To me, the third one will be maintaining your own health, maintaining your own sanity, and finding balance. And it took me a while. I will say, I didn't find, and I'm still not there, but I didn't find better balance until I moved. But maybe that was a time in life, and zero regrets for waiting as long as I did, because I think all those things built to where we get to where you make that move. But finding the balance and being able to strike that is. That's a level of success to me that I think you find.
A testament to both these guys, and why I'm actually sitting up here with these guys, is because they both took a shot on me. When I first met Don, I really didn't know him. he couldn't have been a better, nicer guy. So welcoming. And I was like, well, that's why this motherfucker's got the money he does. He's a politician. He's great. He treated me like I've known him for 100 years. And when I reached out to Gunnar, I had met him a couple times at a couple events. Probably didn't remember who the hell I was. And then I slid into his DMs like I was trying to take him home one night.
Just like Don.
And I said to him, I go, hey, man, I was like, I'm doing this event, and you would legitimize it. And he took a shot on me, and he was like, all right, call me tonight at 11 o'clock. And we sat on the phone for about an hour, and he's like, all right, just tell me where to be, and I'll see you there. So both these guys, you know, they walk the walk, and they talk the talk, and that's why they've had the success they have. And everybody wants to talk about, you know, hard work doesn't pay off, but, I mean, here's two guys up here. I'm proud to be surrounded.
People don't know the hours. Like, they laughed. He told me a story the other day about somebody who said to him, you've got this huge digital presence, you're this master online, but you haven't logged the hours. They have no idea.
It's like, what?
He's trained, whatever the number is, 40-some thousand man-hours, one-on-one, never more than 5 feet away from somebody, wiping up sweat, doing programming at night. Like, people don't know that. They see Don almost exclusively shirtless, because that's his thing. On every single ad he does, and then and they think that all he does is photo shoots all day. And you go, you don't know what he did to get to that point. And it's funny to me that people are looking, we talk about people who start in the training field, you're looking for how do you get from you to Don? There's a lot of work in between, and if you just embrace it, it's not bad. It's fun to do that work. That builds who you are.
Funny story about that same topic. And then I want to open the floor up for like 5 minutes worth of questions. But guy walks in my gym, and I told Don this story, and he's like, you know what? I hate all these phony trainers, all these celebrity bullshit trainers who don't know what they're doing, who just take their shirts off and take pictures. And I was like, who are you talking about? He's like, Gunnar Peterson, Don Saladino, those guys. And I go, you could have shit on any other trainer in the world. I would have kind of gone along with you. But I was like, those guys have been nothing but great. And I was like, I know the hours these guys put in.
Good luck finding a shirtless picture of me out there. Good luck.
I'm never taking my shirt off again now.
The only ones of those you'll find are in Don's phone.
So we only have about 5 minutes left, so I want to open the floor for anybody who wants to ask any questions to these guys. I'm sure they'll answer any questions you guys have when you see them on the floor, because they're both open books, but I'd love to get some questions. Right here.
Forgive me for maybe stating the obvious and it not necessarily being a question, but I feel it's worth mentioning that what I've gotten out of it, I mean, it started by you saying, what do you say to people that are not necessarily in their profession that excites them or that they enjoy to the extent that you guys do. And I think what I got out of this is that you guys, you didn't know where it was going to lead you. Like, don't let what you don't know keep you in the same place. Like, you know that you like something, then
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
and I think that's what I've gotten. Like, you guys are, to some people, maybe that lens that they see you in is, oh, you're so successful in this, that, but you've continuously highlighted through every conversation that you're just a human and you're just doing the best you can. And I think that sometimes we lose sight of that because we don't know what the first step is, but it's okay to not know.
I think part of the problem too is that you guys, a lot of you compare yourselves to what you're seeing. Like, you know, I see a 25-year-old the other day giving life advice on social media. I'm like, oh, great, thanks. Like, all right, let's move on from that. But everyone wants to systematize something, or they want to package something, and they want to sell it, and they want to show like it's so organized. Like, guys, I get up in the morning, I brush my teeth, I get cleaned up. Like, I'm heating up breakfast while I'm checking emails. And do I eat too fast? Sure. Am I yelling at my son to take out the garbage? Yes. Am I sitting there burning incense? And no, I'm not. Like, I'm a parent. I run a business. Things are chaotic at times. I just think, like, I'm not telling you to be disorganized, and I'm not telling you to wake up, on the other hand, and just throw balls in the air and hope things happen. But the reality is opportunity, things are going to come at you, and you're going to be like, well, I mean, 80% of the things that happen in my career or that I'm doing now, like, probably didn't exist. And that's cool.
Work begets work. Nothing's truer than that. If you're, find work, right? That's a military saying, find work. Go do something. And if you're looking for people in a gym, be in the gym. Don't expect them to track you down. Be where they can find you.
Yep.
be busy, and you'll be busier.
Actually, just to piggyback on that, I had a coach come up to me years ago, and he's like, I'm charging $600 an hour. And I'm like, wow.
That's what my lawyer charges.
I'm like, wow, that's really impressive. I'm like, how many sessions are you doing a week? And he's like,
2.
4. So I look at him, I was like, all right, what are you doing with your other hours? Like, are you starting a digital business? And he's like, well, basically he was doing nothing. I'm like, well, let me ask you a question. Why don't you drop your rate from 600 to 200 and just train more people? And he looked at me and he said, what do you think he'd say? Why do I want to work more and make less? I said, because that's opportunity. And sitting home and playing Xbox every day for the remaining 8 hours a day is not going to put you into a good situation. Why? Come on, man.
Michael Chernoff from Xbox.
You get my point. Opportunity. Being on the floor, meeting people has created opportunity for the three of us on a level that we would not have received if we were just
And also travel. You might get asked to do something at a lesser rate that takes you somewhere else. You're going to find roads to that all the time. You're going to London next week to do something.
Yeah.
Guarantee it's not just going to be to train the people. You're going to find other things there.
I already have media opportunities set up. I'm already checking out gyms. No, seriously, it's like I'm not going to go over there and work with this person. Correct. Right? I didn't mention his name. And I'm not going to work with this person and then out of nowhere just sit there and watch TV and be like, oh, work on my digital business. Like that's an opportunity for me to meet with publishers, editors, people that I have. My good buddy Charles Thorpe back there, an editor I've been working with for years. Love him. He's meeting me over there. And we're going to do work, and we're going to get stuff done. I want to be as efficient with my time as possible.
I wrote half a book while I was on location with people shooting a movie. Literally, what am I going to do with the free time? I'm going to work. Hey. And you create stuff. Even if it doesn't get published, you have it. It's stocked away. You might add to it later on. You'll see.
I don't like the not name dropping. The name dropping part's actually fun.
You like that?
You
never know. They're recording this shit.
Yeah, no, we have.
So we'll take one more, and then we got to wrap it up because we're going to get over. You had your hand up first, Ken. Nice job.
Good for you, man.
Yeah, awesome, by the way.
Good for you.
Nice job.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't.
Always waiting on the sound guy.
Did I talk louder? I could.
There you go.
So, me doing that, I know like we've been grinding, and like my friend also has his own gym, and like we put in the hours and stuff. My question to you is like, I know the grind, and you want to be the best person sweeping the floor at the restaurant. We were all there, but like, it's real. Like when I work 18-hour shifts, and then I'm also an athlete training for the High Rocks in like 6 months. What did you do in that time of your life to like find balance?
No, there wasn't really any balance. I'm not gonna,
Yeah, it's like
I'm not going to tell you and say that there was balance. Like, no, it was fast and furious. I'd get my training in. I'd eat my meals.
You just name drop Fast and the Furious?
No, I didn't work with anyone.
I was going to
So
say.
that doesn't count as a name drop. But like, I would.
like the burnout.
Yeah, I just pushed through it. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say that I didn't have my moments where I woke up and I was like, oh man, I need to sit in front of a couch. I was sitting on a couch, on a Sunday and watch TV and eat pizza. I would do that once in a blue moon. And I felt like that was kind of a reset for me. But the reality is no, man. I was sleeping in my physical therapy office and I was hearing rats running around the gym. Like I was, someone broke into my gym one night. I was sleeping there. My wife was home in Long Island. Like there's things that go on that that people just don't want to, they don't want to put themselves in that situation. They want all the good stuff. But if you are a good person, you surround yourself with good people, I know it sounds corny, and you keep working hard and putting yourself in the good situations, it will start paying dividends. Guys, unfortunately, Gunnar and I talked about this the other day. There's not like a grand slam that I can look back and think about. Like, it's a lot of singles, maybe some doubles, sacrifice bunts, stolen bases, baseball analogies. I was a ball player, sorry. But yeah, that was how I built my business, and yeah, that's the honest answer. And I don't know about you, but what he did was impressive because he built up this name for himself in LA. Like I had to leave my gym in New York and open this online, but he left LA and then he just said, "Fuck it, I'm that good. I'm just going to go to Nashville and make it happen again." And he did it with a level of confidence where I was like,
But I also took other jobs. That was one thing we talked about. I had a job to work for a company, full-time job, while I had my gym, and I thought, how can I do that? You can just not sleep.
Yeah.
And I did
Not
it.
easy.
And it takes a toll. It takes a toll on your family. But if you sit with the family and go, hey, I really want to do this because I think it might lead to something cool, and you get the blessing or half a blessing, and then you pursue it, it just means you're going to go to the gym at 3:30, 4 in the morning. You're going to work there till 7, 8. You're going to get down to the other job, crank that out to whenever that is, get back to the gym, try to see a couple more people, maintain your own personal brand, your own personal existence, and then get home and try to be, part of a household and check your ego at the door.
Last thing I want to add to that, though, it also helped that Gunnar and I are business partners, are our wives, and they're our teammates, and we can't do what we're doing without them. Jess is out there, Mel's over there in the corner there. So
He's trying to make up for that other shitty.
100%. You gotta have people who are part of your team who understands your mission, and if they don't, and you're going to work and someone's breaking your chops, or you've got employees that you're with that just aren't,
If you have support,
you gotta have
at home, there's no guarantee that it's going to work, but it's infinitely more pleasant if it doesn't. If you have that partner, that's everything to me.
Guys, thank you all so much. I just want to leave everybody with one thought, all right? And this is my one little bit of success that I want to add to it, whether you guys want to hear it or not. But every person in this room, believe it or not, you hold value. And when you treat other people like they hold value, then you become infinitely successful. If you see every individual not as a burden or not as a problem, but you see value in them, I could look around this room, and there are so many people in this room that I train or I work with or I'm friends with, that I saw value in them, gave them the opportunity, and they crushed it. So show everybody that you see value in them, and you'll be infinitely successful.
Good luck, guys. Go get it.
Thanks for making this happen, Kenny.
Thank you guys.